My brother mocked my small wedding. Then he Googled my fiancé's name and found out he was the builder of luxury resorts across the Middle East. It all began when I joyfully arrived to the family house with the invitations. It was nothing spectacular, yet we made it with love. My mother stared at it like if I'd given her a pizza flyer. "Are you serious? A hole this simple?" She threw the invitation on the table as if it repulsed her. "Oh, what a shame." My brother grabbed it and presented it to his girlfriend while holding back laughs. "Look, my sister is having her grand wedding here. Isn't it picturesque?" His girlfriend covered her lips, faking sympathy. "Oh no, how sad." My father did not even turn around. "Don't count on me, I'm not going to make a fool of myself." "But Dad." "No buts. That's not a wedding, it's a neighborhood block party." Just then, my aunt strolled in, as if the cosmos needed another round of ridicule. "What are you talking about?" "About the girl's little wedding," my mother muttered contemptuously, as if the term wedding bothered her. "Oh yes, my friend already told me. She says it's such a pity she settled for so little." My brother gave a loud laugh. "They're going to think we've run out of money or something worse." Deep down, I knew this would happen. I wasn't expecting a standing ovation, but hearing it from their own mouths, so raw and unfiltered, was like getting slapped in slow motion. Something shattered or hardened inside of me as I placed the crumpled invitation away. They would see who had the most horrible wedding. I did not sleep that night. My family's words played like a music. But it wasn't only the words spoken that afternoon. It was an echo, the closing lyric of a harsh opera that I had grown up listening to. Sitting in the darkness of the kitchen, the humiliation of the offer faded into a carousel of bad memories. I was 19 when I introduced them to my first boyfriend, a genuinely nice guy who worked as a mechanic to pay for his studies. I recall my mother's frozen expression and her later private remark. "Darling, love is nice, but it doesn't pay the bills at the garage. Aim higher." When I told my father at 23 that I was quitting the law degree he had picked for me to pursue my passion for graphic design, he didn't even look at me. "So much investment in your education for you to end up making little drawings. What a disappointment." And the continual comparison to my brother, whose advances at a marketing firm were celebrated with lavish dinners, and his new cars were a source of family pride. When I sold my first piece to an independent gallery, my brother remarked at Christmas dinner, "Well, at least it pays the rent." There are levels to everything, right? A term he had used just a few days before. It was always the same. Money was the measure of worth, status trumped affection, and appearances over happiness. This was not about the wedding, it never was. It was about me, choosing a path they couldn't brag about in their social circle. The kitchen clock chimed 3 a.m. The weight of a lifetime of slights sat on my chest. It was then that I informed my fiancé everything, including the invitation. I told him everything about my mechanic boyfriend, my career and my brother, including the pauses. "My father said you would leave me in ruins," I informed him, my voice cracking. I noticed his jaw stiffen. "That's not the worst part," I said. "My sister already told the whole family they're not coming, so no one gets their hopes up." He remained silent for a long time after saying those words. Then he held my hands with a calmness that shocked me. "I have something to confess to you." A shiver went down my spine. "What do you mean?" "My father doesn't just sell furniture. That's his hobby, a small side business. He actually owns a real estate development company that builds luxury resorts and hotels all over the world. We've been working with international investors for years, but he always told me to keep that private here. People will treat you differently if they know you have money," he'd tell me. I was speechless. "Are you kidding me?" "Not at all. And my mom isn't a housewife. She's an architect with contacts all over the world." He ran his hands through his hair. "When I tell them what your family did to you, they want a money show. We'll give them the show of their lives." The next day, we visited his parents' house. They had always treated me like a daughter, but when I told them what had happened, I noticed something different in their eyes, something more protective and intimate. "I can't believe they said such things to you. Anyone who messes with the woman my son loves, messes with us," my father-in-law remarked calmly, giving me shivers. "What do you need for those people to eat their words?" My mother-in-law rose up without saying a word, reached for her iPad, and began typing quickly. "They're going to eat their words. This will be the wedding of the year." She called her assistant in Dubai. "I need you to book the yacht for a private ceremony. Yes, the 200-foot one. And contact the photographer who worked with the Al Rashids." While we were planning, my mother forwarded me an article on WhatsApp about how women suffer when they marry someone from a lesser status, or practically poorer class. The note read, "Something for you to think about." "These people have no shame," my mother-in-law mumbled, staring at the message as if unable to believe what she was reading. That afternoon, we sat down to review my family's Instagram accounts. My mother-in-law took notes like a sleuth from a noir novel. "Your sister is obsessed with brands. Look, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, always tagging the stores. Your mom brags about her Cancun vacations as if it were Paris." She burst out laughing. "And your dad? His newest car is a 2018 BMW and he posts it like it's a Lamborghini." "They're just posturing," my father-in-law stated. "People who are secure in their position don't need to show off so much." My mother-in-law made a private Instagram account. She added 3 of my distant cousins as well as 2 work colleagues. "The gossip has to filter out naturally," she explained. "If we add too many people, it will be suspicious." 3 days later, my brother sent images from his weekend at a small resort. The caption reads, "Enjoying the nice things in life. There are layers to everything." "Did you see this?" I asked my mother-in-law, showing her the screen. "Perfect. Now we know we're on their minds." For a test, we purchased a Hermes bag and a Rolex watch. My mother-in-law snapped casual images of me at an expensive cafe and uploaded them to our private account with the caption, "Coffee dates before the preparations." The next day, my distant cousin said, "What a beautiful bag." That night, my aunt texted me, "My dear, I hear you're buying expensive things. Isn't it better to save for a house?" My mother-in-law erupted into laughter. "The gossip has already reached your family. I bet they have a WhatsApp group talking about your new lavish lifestyle." She was not mistaken. My cousin later informed me that someone in the family conversation said, "They're already spending what they don't have. They will be in debt by their first anniversary." The bait worked, I told my mother-in-law. "Now comes the fun part," she said, giving me the contacts on her phone. "You know what? Every luxury wedding needs witnesses, lots of witnesses." My mother-in-law began making calls in Arabic. My father-in-law meantime was conversing in English with someone in London. My fiancé translated bits and pieces. A royal wedding photographer, flowers from the same location where the Prime Minister's daughter married, and a band that performs at the Burj Al Arab. "Isn't this too much?" I inquired, half smiling and half frightened. "Love," my fiancé replied, taking my face in his hands. "My family has spent 20 years building palaces for people who spend in one night what your family earns in a year. This is not too much. You deserve this and more." My mother-in-law finished a final call and smiled at me. "Done. Your family wanted a decent wedding. They're going to have to eat their words when they see what a truly decent wedding looks like." That night, as I looked over the images we had posted to our secret account, I noticed that my sister had attempted to follow us using a phony account. My mother-in-law had refused the request without hesitation. "Let them die of curiosity," she declared. "The desperation will drive them insane, and when they see the real photos." She paused and smiled in a way that made me shiver. "They will understand the true meaning of the word miserable." When we boarded the plane to Dubai, we knew exactly what we were going to do. It was not a routine excursion, it was a deliberate deployment. First class, champagne is offered before to take off, not a word more. I shared a story featuring the glass with the label facing the camera, my hand with the ring showing, and an airplane emoji. There's nothing more. It was only the first piece of bait. When we arrived at the international airport, we were greeted by a chauffeur dressed in a pristine dark gray suit and holding a tablet with our names. I did not even record that. I waited until we arrived to the hotel, not the one we were staying in, but the one my in-laws helped build 5 years ago, and their names are still inscribed on a marble wall. A modest snapshot of the lobby, a silhouette of me with a view of the Burj Khalifa from the suite, and a note to close friends. Life has a way of settling scores. We knew someone would spread such lies. It was simply a matter of time. The first day was for acclimatization. We walked through the mall with my mother-in-law's designer, who had previously prepared the dress fittings. We purchased a couple pieces of casual jewelry. My mother-in-law sent images of me from her private account, knowing who was following and what comments they anticipated to see. Day 2. A yacht tour along the coast. Still no ceremony. My father-in-law's partner owned the yacht, which was 200 feet long and had a deck as white as snow, wealthy but not vulgar. I shared a photo of the skyline from the water at night, with beautiful lights reflected in the sea. The caption read, "A modest vista to begin our lives together." I'm not sure who captured the screenshot. 30 minutes later, my brother commented on his account. Did you win the lottery or what? Be careful with your debt, little sister. I read it while having my nails done. I did not even respond. I just showed it to my mother-in-law. Perfect, they're biting, she explained. My mom wasn't far behind. She commented on another photo, this one of me and my fiancé at a restaurant saying, "Daughter, I hope you're being prudent. Love does not pay her credit cards." We glanced at each other and laughed. They had no idea, but they were causing their own doom. On day 3, we decided to ramp up the intensity. We shared a carousel of pre-wedding preparation photographs, including professional cosmetics, close-ups of high couture fabrics, and a view from the suite with the dress hanging on a gold hanger. In one photograph, I can be seen holding a glass of champagne. The ring gleamed brighter than usual. We shared another photo with our hands intertwined, his Patek Philippe watch, my ring. The text I wrote was almost surgical. Marrying the richest man I know in ideals, spirit, and, as it turns out, everything else as well. Thank you for teaching me about actual worth. My relative made a quick comment. Is this the same Aiden that everyone thought sold chairs? Another person responded, Bro, Google his full name. I just fell out of my chair. Someone did and shared it. A cousin shared a copy of a Forbes article titled Aiden, last name, the hidden builder of luxury hospitality in the Middle East. Then there's the founder of the Green Humanity Foundation, who received multi-million-dollar donations in Geneva. Those links made it into the family group chat. Screenshot after screenshot. Someone even sent his LinkedIn profile. Then quiet. The family chat, which had previously been a machine of remarks, theories and contempt disguised as gossip, fell silent. 15 minutes. Nothing. No emojis. Not a wow. This is not a congratulations. Only the weight of their pride collapsing in real time. Then came the cleanup. I watched as my mother, brother, and even an aunt's comments vanished. They removed everything, as if this would undo the entire story. However, there was no going back. Day 4. The big day. The ceremony was held on the yacht's deck at twilight. There were only a few visitors, including my fiancé's parents, 2 close family partners, and a few acquaintances. Each was carefully chosen, with a social media presence, high-profile following, and a role in the strategy. The wedding was private and wonderful, with no unnecessary peculiarities but no shortage of details. White flowers, soothing live music, and a violinist playing as I approached him. My garment floats in the breeze. When we said I do, there was no raucous applause, just a shared, genuine smile. Then followed the star post, a photo taken on the deck shortly after dusk. I'm in my dress, he's in his suit, and we're hugging in front of warm lighting. We captioned that image. Thank you for joining us in this new phase. It was not an ordinary wedding, it was an extraordinary, personal, and unforgettable experience. Below there is another photo of us with his parents. The caption was straightforward. Infinitely grateful to my new parents for making our dream wedding a reality. Family members choose to be there for you. I tagged my father-in-law. His profile was hidden, but his name was already known. Then the panic started. My father first texted me, asking, "What is all this? Are you degrading us? Where did you receive the money?" Then my mother asked, "Why didn't you tell us you were going to do something like this? You left us out on purpose." And then my sister said, in a voicemail that I still have saved, "I believe it's terrible that you exposed us like this. People ask me if we are impoverished. Is that what you wanted?" I did not respond. The nicest thing happened next. My parents' friends, who don't even follow me, began openly commenting on my images. How wonderful. I didn't realize your daughter had married Aiden. Congratulations. We attended an opening for one of his hotels in Qatar. Wonderful individuals. Their masks came off in front of their own social group. They could no longer pretend to be above everyone else. They appeared hostile, stupid, and unable to see. And then, as the final nail in the coffin, the reel. It was only 40 seconds long, yet it appeared to be a movie. Drone footage entering the yacht's bow. White flowers falling as I walked. Champagne being given, the final kiss, and the night view. All expertly edited. Not a single second was wasted. The views surged. And then something unexpected occurred. One of my father's friends posted the video on his own Facebook with the caption, "When love and elegance come together, things like this happen. Congratulations, family." He tagged my father. It was the ultimate in public humiliation. Their attempts to maintain control had failed. My relatives began sending me voice messages one after another. "Honey, we need to chat. We could have a celebration here, right? We can do a second more informal celebration for everyone." One even remarked that Grandma is wondering why she wasn't invited. And I just watched the notifications come in. As we had tea on the hotel balcony, my mother-in-law expressed it best. Sometimes the best revenge isn't to destroy anyone. It's simply to show them what they lost by being so arrogant. She was correct. The tension was at its highest. The masks were off. The truth was made public. And best of all, I had not said anything. I simply revealed the reality that they had always denied. They dug themselves a social grave. I just turned on the lights. A week after returning from Dubai, the doorbell rang at 7 p.m. My spouse proceeded to open it. I heard them before I saw them, their artificially happy voices and syrupy tone, which they had never used with me. "How wonderful to see you, son." My father, with a manufactured warmth, turned my stomach. My husband called from the entrance. "Love, your family came to visit." I stepped down the stairs and saw them. My father with a smile that seemed to physically hurt him, my mother clutching an expensive present bag, and my brother anxiously fumbling with his car keys. But what struck me the most was how their gaze grazed me before focusing on my husband as if he were the most important thing in the room. "We brought some little gifts," my mother explained, taking a Chanel bag from the larger suitcase. "For you, my daughter." She extended it to me without looking at me directly, as if it were a formality to be accomplished before proceeding to more important matters. My father offered my spouse a box of Cuban cigars. "To celebrate. I knew you had the makings of a champion from day one." And I just stood there, invisible, the woman they had degraded, dismissed by those who had reared me. My brother had not even greeted me. His gaze followed my husband's every movement as if he were a superstar. "Sit down," my husband stated calmly, sending thrills down my spine. "But I want my wife to be present for this entire conversation. It's my turn to defend her." They settled into the living room. My mother continued to address just him. "We wanted to get to know you better. Please excuse us if we didn't give you the welcome you deserved." My dad laughed uneasily. "It's just that sometimes one misjudges a person's character, but it's clear you're a man of the world." My brother, who could not keep silent, stepped in. "In fact, I have an incredible business idea, apps for luxury hotels. With your experience and my technical knowledge." My spouse let them chat, do their calculations, propositions, and desperate attempts to coerce him. I felt like a ghost in my own home, watching my family behave in ways they never had with me. Then, my mother did something that destroyed my heart. She brought out my grandfather's watch, which I had often requested but was denied since, according to her, your future is uncertain. "We wanted to give you this," she said to my husband. "It's a family heirloom. You've proven you know how to value important things." That's when something within me snapped. I've been asking for that watch for 20 years. 20 years of being told I wasn't ready and wouldn't take care of it. And now they were handing it to him, like if it were a bribe. My hubby has finally spoken. His voice was steady, yet each syllable had a glacial quality. "Let me see if I understand." He glanced directly at my brother. "A month ago, I was your sister's charity project, right?" My brother became red. "That was a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" my spouse asked, leaning forward. "How do you misinterpret enjoying the good things in life? There are levels to everything." He turned to face my father. "And you? You told me I was going to drag your daughter into mediocrity, that when I left her in ruins, she shouldn't come crying to you." My father attempted to interrupt. "Look, son. I am not your son." His frigid tone could have chilled the air. "And you?" he asked my mother. "You said our wedding was so embarrassing it didn't deserve your presence." My mother sputtered. "It was a misunderstanding. We were worried about her." "Are you worried?" my spouse asked, standing up. "Do you know what the most pathetic part of all this is? I haven't changed. I am still the exact same man you met. The only difference is that now you know my father has a bigger bank account than yours." The silence was terrible. "Their problem was never my wallet," he explained. "Their problem was that they measured their own daughter's worth by the man she married. And when they thought that man had no money, they decided she was worthless too." My brother swallowed hard. My father stared at the floor. My mother fidgeted anxiously with her hands. "But you will never forgive yourselves for this," my husband said, taking my hand. "The biggest insult wasn't to me, it was to her. You told your own daughter that her love was worthless, that her happiness was an embarrassment, that her wedding was miserable." His voice hardened, becoming as harsh as glass. An extraordinary woman who loved you unconditionally, and you treated her like trash because you thought she was marrying someone poor. Do you know what that says about you as people? My mother attempted to speak. We love her. No. My husband cut her off. You loved her conditionally, depending on how much money her husband had. That's not love, that's convenience. He walked towards the door. The only family I see in this room is her. The watch stays here. The gifts too. And you will leave now. My father rose, stumbling. You can't throw us out like this. We're her family. Family? My husband glanced at him with scorn. Where was that family when she needed your support, when she was crying because the people she loved most humiliated her on the most important day of her life? My brother attempted one final play. We can start over, forget all this. Like you forgot your sister when you thought it wasn't convenient for you. My spouse opened the door. Some wounds are not forgotten. Some wounds are remembered forever. He watched as they left one by one. My mother sought to hug me as she died. I drew away. Honey, please. I'm not your honey anymore, Mom. I murmured in a voice that did not sound like mine. I stopped being that the day you decided my happiness was an embarrassment to you. When the door closed, my husband grabbed me. I cried as I hadn't in years. Not grief, but relief. Finally, someone justified my worth. Finally, someone had prioritized my dignity above everything else. Do you regret it? I questioned him. Regret what? Marrying the most valuable woman I know. Starting a family with you. He peered into my eyes. Never. They lost an extraordinary daughter. I gained an extraordinary wife. There's no comparison. That night, as we were sorting through the gifts they had left, I discovered a note from my mother under the purse. Please forgive us. We were mistaken. I ripped it up without finishing it. Some apologies arrive too late. Some wounds go too deep. But for the first time in years, I felt complete. I no longer required their validation. I no longer required their conditional affection. I had something far better, a family that selected me for who I am rather than what I have. 6 months later, the impacts continued to spread. My brother got dismissed from his job. His supervisor, who had seen the entire humiliation on Instagram, informed him, "We don't want people with that kind of judgment in this company." I found out when my cousin told me in a message she later erased. My parents were social outcasts. At their club's annual charity event, they were openly disregarded. They were viewed as greedy fools who had invested on the wrong horse, according to my aunt, in an unpleasant phone call that I ended after 5 minutes. We have blocked my entire family on social media. The digital solitude became our newfound tranquility. No more harmful notifications. No more emotional blackmail. No more contrived drama. My husband burned a letter from my mother without allowing me to see it. Protection above all else, he added simply. I did not argue. Some wounds do not require extra salt. We agreed to legally change my last name to his. It was symbolic, severing the last formal ties to the family. The day I signed the paperwork, I felt more liberated than ever. The poetic justice was completed. My family sacrificed everything in their desperate drive for prestige and wealth, including their family connection, social reputation, and any hope of reaching the world they so desired. They were left with a poverty of soul. The true wealth was never my husband's money. I restored my dignity. It was discovering that family is chosen, not inherited. It was discovering that unconditional love exists, even if it does not always come from the expected sources. Some wounds break you, while others make you stronger. It was one of the latter. I no longer need their approval. I'm no longer waiting for their regret. I'm no longer carrying their toxins. I have something far better. A life of my own, established on my own terms, with people who accept me for who I truly am. In the end, that is worth more than all of the world's luxury weddings combined. So now I ask you, have you ever had to choose between maintaining family harmony and defending your own dignity? Was the cost worthwhile? Do you think I should have swallowed my pride and forgiven them,